Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of VNFL coverage. Before we get started, those of y'all already know the dealio. Make sure I do the right screen. All right, those of y'all that know the dealio, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on any video. You'll be entered in for a chance to win $50 for our subscriber giveaway on the 1st and 15th of every month. That's simple. Subscribe, leave a comment, and you'll be entered in. Also, we want to support the channel, VIB Fitness. If you're looking for workout programs and things like that, we got a free 30-day challenge that's going to be up for the rest of the month of January. So not many more days left. Go ahead and download that bad boy. We got workout programs 3 days a week to 5 days a week. If you need something very specific because you're not sure if one of these pre-made workouts work for you, fill this out and then I can help you. I can create a workout program for you to get you going on your fitness goals. And also, while you're here, check out supplements at finalformsubs.com. Again, we got protein powders, we got plant-based whey protein, coffees and teas. We got handcrafted bars of soap. We got stuff for your gut. We got stuff for creatine. We got hydration. We got pre-workouts, apple cider vinegar capsules, glutamine, all that good stuff. Go to finalformsubs.com to check that out. All right, let's get straight into it as we are winding down here in the NFL. Let's go over the wild card. No, not the wild card. We did that already. Go over the division matchups. Broncos, Bills. Exciting game there, but the Buffalo Bills were defeated in overtime from the Denver Broncos. Josh Allen throwing 2 interceptions obviously wasn't helpful. Bo Nix, 3 touchdowns. 279 yards and an interception. James Cook, 117 yards, got it done on the ground for the Bills, but it just wasn't enough. Harvey, 20 yards, 6 carries there. News, Bo Nix apparently broke his foot or his ankle or something like that, so he will be out for the rest of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Broncos fare without their starting quarterback. The other matchups we had Seahawks 49ers, pretty much a dominant game for the Seahawks. Sam Darnold just played absolutely phenomenal, as you can see. Well, quote unquote, absolutely phenomenal. They didn't really need to throw the ball much. It really got done on the ground, 116 yards, 19 carries, 3 touchdowns for Walker. But Sam Darnold didn't turn the ball over, a touchdown, 124 yards. The Smith and Jigba, the touchdown he had, only 19 yards. Pretty much got it done on the ground. Rushing yards. Seahawks 175 total right there to San Francisco's 108. Brock Purdy threw interception, no touchdown. The Seahawks defense really stepped up. That's really what it came down to. Their defense stepping up. Literally, the Seahawks got an opening kickoff return for a touchdown. If they hadn't scored the rest of the game, they still would have won 7-6. So really good showing for the Seattle defense. So shout out to Legion of Boom. Houston Patriots. Patriots get the dub 28-16 over Houston. CJ Stroud, not his best outing. By not his best outing, I mean probably one of his worst outings. 28 passer rating, which is not good at all. 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. The Patriots defense had 5 total takeaways, and there was a fumble. So yeah, there was a fumble in there. That they lost for the Houston. So 5 takeaways for the New England defense. And like we talked about last week, New England's defense was, it's top 10 defense. The defense for the Texans is a really good elite defense, but when your offense can't stay on the field, can't convert on third down, they were 7 for 17. So, that's not bad, but you gotta, when the other team is scoring points, you gotta stay on the field. You have to stay on the field. And the turnovers at 4 interceptions, there's no way you're going to win the game with 5 turnovers. So the New England Patriots gets it done. And like I said, it came down to Houston's offense. They needed to hang on to the ball and score points, and they didn't do that. And that's really what cost them the game there. And then last but not least, another overtime game, Rams-Bears, terrible weather game. The Rams, Matthew Stafford came out first quarter, played pretty well, got a touchdown pretty early on, and then kind of struggled there for the remainder of the game, but they did enough for them to get the dub. Matthew Stafford, no rushing touchdown, not throwing touchdown. Matthew Stafford, no touchdowns, 258 yards though, 20 of 42, so less than 50%. Again, from the quarterback perspective, and it with this weather, it was going to be tough. High winds, I believe winds were at like 20 something miles an hour. Caleb Williams, 250. Let me, yeah. Where's it at? My later corner. Yeah, so Caleb Williams, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions there. Again, doesn't help. Williams, 87 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns on 21 carries. That's really what really helped out for Stafford and the Rams. And they really were like leaning away because they had so much success with throwing the ball early, in the very their first possession. And then they kind of got away from running the ball. Second half, they came out, started running the ball. And that's really where Williams started to shine, especially with that weather. You kind of got to lean on the run there. And then Nuka, 56 yards, 10 targets, 5 catches. All right, so that's going to lead us this playoff bracket. We have Broncos and Patriots in the AFC Championship. Again, Broncos without the starting quarterback, Bo Nix. Patriots, I believe, are 5.5-point favorite. Seahawks, Rams. We've been talking about this all season. From the same division, they played each other late in the season for that number 1 spot in the division. Seahawks won that one, and now they're getting a rematch in the NFC Championship. So one of these teams right here is going to walk away with this. So let's get straight into it. Bam, conference championships. So New England Patriots and the Broncos. This, again, it's going to be interesting because the Broncos don't have their starting quarterback, right? And we really haven't seen much or anything at all really from the backup quarterback for Denver. I forget who it is. I saw who it was, but I completely, the name escapes me right now. But again, same situation here. It's almost the same situation as Houston in terms of New England's offense is top 5 in the league. Their defense is top 10. Denver's defense is 4th. So again, just like Houston's defense 1. Broncos defense is top 5. Their Broncos offense, middle of the pack, very similar. Well, I won't say middle of the pack, upper echelon, middle of the pack, or just outside of the top 10. So you're talking about a pretty good offense. But what is that offense going to look like with their backup quarterback? That's the question. So again, very similar to the Houston game for the Houston-New England game. This game's going to come down to what can Denver get going on offense. New England, they score points. They're second in the league at scoring points. Their defense, 4th in the league in giving up points. So their defense doesn't give up much points. Denver's going to have to find a way. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of trick plays, a lot of misdirections, a lot of motions, a lot of things to put their quarterback in the best positions possible to get the dub. So we'll have to see what they do there. So they're going to have to Denver's going to have to lean heavy on Broncos on their defense to get them back the ball. Denver has to control the time of possession, and they're going to have to find a way to put points on the board. They're going to have to, whether it's field goals, touchdowns, however, they need to score every possession if they can, okay? Because New England's going to put up points, and their defense is going to show up, and they're going to play. What is Denver going to be able to do? Whether it's in the run game, whether it's in the air, Denver's offense is going to have to figure out a way to make plays offensively. And that's really who we're looking at for Denver to get this dub. It comes down to their offense, really. Now, let's go to the NFC Championship game. Now, I think this one's going to be – I think this one is probably going to be a high – is it at Seattle? Yes, it's at Seattle. So I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I do think this is going to be a closer game. I think this could potentially be a high-scoring game depending on weather. Now, this one's very interesting. It's kind of the inverse of the AFC Championship where Rams got the number 2 offense in the league. Seahawks got number 7. So you're talking about a top 5 offense, top 10 offense. Seattle's defense is 5th, so you got a top 5 defense for Seattle. The Rams defense is 16th, so Rams defense is middle of the pack. So this game, the way I'm looking at it, is going to come down to, can the Los Angeles Rams defense step up to get off the field? That's what they got to do. They got to find a way to get off the field. I was impressed with LA's defense against Chicago. They had a lot of bend but don't break, right? And half is tied 10-10, and it felt like Chicago was playing really well, and it felt like Rams were not playing well at all, but it was still a tight game. That's because we know Rams offense is better than what they showed. And they only gave up 10 points because their defense kind of stepped up and got off the field when they need to. They got a takeaway there. They got a takeaway when they needed to, but there was a lot. And part of it was Chicago playing very aggressive, where they had chances to, and I believe Rams too, where both teams had chances to kick the field goal, but went for it because they're really going aggressive to get the 6 points instead of the 3. But this bend but don't break defense from the Rams was pretty impressive against Chicago, only giving up 17 points when they normally give up, as you can see here, 20.4 points on average. So it was very interesting. It was very interesting to see that bend but don't break defense. Can they keep that up against Seattle? Because Seattle, we got talking about a top 10 offense, high power offense. They're third in the league in scoring points. They score 28.4 points per game on average. So the defense for the Rams, they really got to come with a good game plan. They got to send pressure. If you can get pressure on Darnold, he's not a runner traditionally, right? If you force him to make plays on his feet, that's when you put your defense in the best position possible to win the game. So Rams defense, step up. They got to step up. They got to get off the field on third downs, because they do at a pretty good rate. They're 7th in the league in third down percentage. So they're pretty good at getting off the field on third downs. They got to limit the downfield throws. Jackson Smith and Jigba, they got to limit the deep ball throws. They got to limit the explosive plays. That also includes Walker in the run game. They're gonna have to limit explosive downfield plays. They gotta get into third down situations. First down, second down. You can't be giving up 20, 30-yard plays on second down. If they can get a 2-yard play on first down, maybe a 2-yard play on second down, now it's 3rd and 6. We get off the field. You got to get the Rams offense into third down position. You got to get the Seahawks offense into third down possessions, so you can get off the field, because your defense is really going to get off the field. Now, Seahawks defense is the best team in the league at getting off the field. So if the Seahawks can get the Rams in third down, Seahawks have a good shot for them to get their top 10 offense back on the field and to keep throwing the ball. Okay. So those are the two matchups we got: Seahawks, Rams, Denver Broncos, Patriots. Then we have the Pro Bowl after this. And then we have the Super Bowl February 8th on Peacock, NBC and Peacock. So stop that. And then as we get closer, we'll also get into like MVPs and things like that. I don't know if they've come up with like the Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year and stuff like that. I know they've come up with like the All-Pro team, which I believe we went over last week. But I'll just make sure to recap the MVPs and awards like that. So we're really coming down here to the end. For the Broncos Patriots, Broncos offense, it's in your hands. Okay, if they come out struggling and they keep 3-and-outing to where their defense has to stay on the field a lot, the defense is going to get worn out. You're giving Patriots more chances to score, and we know that offense, but that's what they do is they score. Seahawks, it comes down to the Rams defense. Can they get off the field? Bend but don't break. Can they get takeaways in the red zone? Can they get takeaways on explosive downfield plays like they did against Chicago? It comes down to Broncos offense for AFC game and the Rams defense for the NFC Championship game. So those are the two things we're going to be looking at. And we're going to be really, really close here. Next week, I will do we will have an episode next week to talk about how the conference championships went down and then the Super Bowl matchup. So the video is going to be a lot quicker. And then I'll also do a video after the Super Bowl, kind of recap how that went down. And that video is going to be, as you can probably guess, extremely short. And then we're in the off season. So we have 2 episodes left for the off season. And we're going to wrap up season 3 of the NFL coverage. But again, exciting, really excited to watch these games, and appreciate you guys for tuning in this season. And we're almost there to the Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl Sunday holiday. It's a holiday in America. But that's going to do it for this episode of the NFL coverage. We'll catch you guys next time.